I want my legacy to be the impact that I can have on young kids and the people in the state of Iowa.
Sometimes when an athlete rises at lightning speed, the world forgets they're still human. Caitlin Clark is the perfect example. Fans see her sink impossible threes, set records, fill arenas, and dominate highlights that explode online. But few notice the moments that truly tested her. One of the hardest came in her last college game, the national championship versus South Carolina. It felt like a movie. The nation tuned in, expecting magic again. South Carolina had size, depth, and experience stacked against her. Clark had determination, elite skill, and a team who trusted her completely. From the tip-off, the battle was clear. She hit shots only she could make, kept her team in striking distance with sharp passes and deep threes, and never gave in to the waves of pressure coming at her. But as the clock ticked down, reality settled in. This wasn't Iowa's night. When the buzzer blared, she didn't crumble or dramatize. She froze for a heartbeat, just long enough to show the silent heartbreak everyone could feel. Then she composed herself and walked into the handshake line, chin up, as she always does. The sadness lingered, though, into the post-game press. Sitting in her black Iowa warm-up, hair pulled back, her voice low, eyes glassy, she tried to explain what it felt like to leave college without a championship. Her smile appeared briefly, but faded fast. She spoke honestly about giving everything she had, saying she had no regrets, and that the journey mattered more than any trophy.
This team brought them a lot of joy. I understand we came up one win short, but I think we have a lot to be proud of and a lot to celebrate. Yeah. I was just that young girl, so all you have to do is dream. You can be in moments like this.
Every glance at her hands seemed to carry the weight of an ending. This wasn't just disappointment over a single game. It was grief for a chapter closing in front of the world, without the fairy tale finish she imagined. Most would collapse under that pressure. Clark had no time to breathe. She entered the WNBA under a spotlight so intense it seemed to swallow everything around her. Her rookie season, expected to be thrilling, turned into one of the most grueling introductions any player has faced. Everyone had an opinion. Every media outlet demanded attention. Every game had millions watching. She couldn't ease in quietly. She had to learn a league full of veteran talent while bearing the weight of the sport itself. That pressure forged some of the toughest moments of her career. Toward the end of her rookie year, during her exit interview, she arrived exhausted in ways fans hadn't seen. Upright, yes, but her voice was softer, cautious, like someone carrying months of relentless strain. She talked about injuries, especially recurring ankle pain, about fatigue, soreness, and being physically targeted because she was the rookie everyone scrutinized. She reflected on mastering the league's pace, developing as a leader, and building both mental and physical resilience.
I look really soft. It wasn't that bad to turn, but it hurt. So sometimes you just need a second to give yourself a second. If you ever sprain your ankle, it just kind of stings for a little bit. So I was good. They're like, "You want to go to the back?" I'm like, "No, please, just take right here. Let's go. We gotta keep going. Get on with the game." But I've done it a few times, so it is what it is. You're not a real basketball player if you haven't sprained your ankles a bunch. That's when you know.
Yeah.
She wasn't making excuses. She was just being real, someone who learned the league through grit and pain. Her exhaustion was visible. No complaints, no blaming, just someone holding herself together with sheer will. Her eyes looked older than her years, carrying a story that felt like a decade in a single season. Another gut-wrenching moment hit mid-season, when injuries struck.
That they can stop Caitlin and that they're the better team.
Oh, Caitlin goes down and is grabbing at her left ankle. Oh no. Clark is down, grabbing at her left ankle in pain as the whistle blows.
Driving hard to the basket, Clark got jostled, landed awkwardly, and limped. She waved off medical help, frustration and embarrassment written all over her face. When she finally had to sit, cameras captured her staring at the floor, wishing she could be anywhere else. She massaged her ankle, shook her head, and clenched her jaw. The pain wasn't the worst part. It was the fear that her body might fail at the worst possible time. Millions were watching. Critics waited for her to falter. Fans were anxious. After pushing herself through almost everything in college, Being sidelined became a new kind of heartbreak. Her team missing the playoffs deepened the sting. The Fever had hopes of a quick turnaround, and everyone expected Clark to flip the switch immediately. But rebuilding in the WNBA isn't instant. She gave her all, making shots, setting teammates up, battling double teams. But when elimination became official, she had to face the brutal reality. Effort alone doesn't always guarantee results. After the game, she spoke with responsibility and determination. No whining, no blame, just a heavy heart, knowing the fight would have to continue next season.
I think it's been different. I think just having good perspective is the best way to approach it. Like, yeah, you can be frustrated and whatnot, but, I think the medical team has done a really good job of, doing my rehab every single day, staying in a routine, coming in, getting shots up. But more than anything, I think just focusing on being a really good teammate, being there for my teammates, being a voice for them, because that's what I am when I'm playing. So you got to still be that consistent voice when I'm sitting on the bench. So I try to do that as much as I can for them. And just try to be there for them, I think, has been my focus. And I think that can kind of distract you from not actually playing, is when you just focus on your teammates and, how can I serve them and help them.
We just talked about this being a good opportunity for you to learn from the bench and learn from the coaching staff sitting by them at games. Just what have you learned from that?
Yeah, I think it's a unique perspective, when you're out there playing and actually in the heat of the moment, you don't always realize everything, you don't always see everything, you see things from a different perspective that maybe the coaching staff didn't see. So it's certainly different. So I'm trying to, kind of be that connector between the coaches and then my teammates at the same time, whether, that's in the locker room at halftime, whether that's during timeout. So, things I see from the bench that maybe might be a little bit different of a perspective than maybe our point guard is seeing or, anybody on the floor is seeing. But yeah, I think it's taught me a lot. I've never been in that position before of actually getting to watch from the bench for an extended period of time. So I think you can learn the game of basketball just the same amount. It's the same as you turn on the TV and watch the NBA or you watch other WNBA games. That's the best way to learn basketball. It's just watch and absorb it, and it's the same when I'm not active too.
Not all her toughest moments came from the court. One of the harshest pressures came from media scrutiny. Every foul was debated nationally. Every comment turned into a headline. Every opponent interaction became a trending clip. She became the center of attention she never sought. Some defended her. Some attacked her. Some used her fame for clicks. Every game, she faced judgment, not just for her skill, but for her reactions, words, posture, even her breathing. That kind of pressure wears anyone down. There were nights she left the court without a smile, shoulders sagging, carrying more than basketball. She never spoke of the weight, but it was visible. Hunched on the bench, wiping her face with her jersey, nodding during tough questions. Not dramatic or theatrical, quiet, lingering heartbreak. And yes, opponents often targeted her physically because of the attention she drew.
Yeah, I think for sure. I think, obviously the last two have been disappointing, but I think that's kind of been the message for our team is, you have another opportunity to go out there and improve and get better. And I really did think we played a pretty good game in Vegas minus the fourth quarter, and it was kind of that same thing. And versus Golden State of, just finding a way to execute for 4 quarters and maintaining leads. That's kind of, been a little bit of our struggle all year long, whether we've won games or whether we've lost games. So, be consistent in everything that we do. There's going to be some turnovers, there's going to be things like that, but, we can't do that when the game's really close and every single possession matters. And I think when we went back and watched the film, especially from the Vegas game, we just made it really hard on ourselves to win with the errors we made offensively and defensively, as we basically had to play a perfect game in that fourth quarter to still win. So
that's the reason I play. I think that's when I'm at my best. It's when I'm smiling, when I'm having fun. And so just, trying to always remind myself of that. And obviously, I'm an athlete competing at the highest level. I'm a perfectionist, and you want to be really good every single night. And, when you're not, that can frustrate you. But I think it's just reminding yourself of why you played this game and, how much fun we've had doing it over the course of, however many years it's been since you were a little kid. So I don't think that's changed at all. That's the reason I still play.
One game made this crystal clear. She took multiple hard hits, fell repeatedly, but kept rising. After one particularly brutal sequence, cameras caught her on the bench, rubbing her shoulder, teammates checking in. She didn't shout or explode. She stared straight ahead, expression blank, saying without words, "I'm done being treated like a punching bag." Fans felt that moment deeply. It showed a player who loves the game, but was being tested by everything outside skill alone. The common thread in all these sad moments? They didn't come from a lack of effort. They came from the sheer amount she gave to teammates, coaches, fans, and doing things the right way. When you care that much, the lows hit harder.
Caitlin Clark and WNBA officials are just not getting along. It hasn't been a great time. This breakdown is brought to you by DraftKings. They're playing Connecticut again. The last time I did a breakdown, it was the same matchup. So, there's always a lot of tension, it seems. And this call goes against them, and she's upset right away. And this is the first part. This hasn't been in a lot of the videos that I've watched on this, but she's upset. She's like, I didn't touch it, okay? They don't go to a replay. So all we have is the game footage just zoomed in and slowed down. And it looks like, to me, Caitlin Clark's hand is on the other girl's wrist, not the ball, and the other girl hits it out. But who knows, because that's grainy. Anyway, just setting the stage, she was upset about that call and thinking he missed that one. Play resumes, Connecticut's got the ball, and it goes out of bounds. This time, easy call. That's Connecticut's ball. They inbound it again. This is all the same sequence. This is the next time they have the ball, put up a shot, rebound, bobble, touch. She says that way. Caitlin Clark doesn't argue. The other team, they're not into it. They're like, we're going to probably challenge that. So the whistle blows and she says, we got the ball. What's and they're going to discuss it. And the ref comes in and she says, you 100%. He says, 100%. Hey, you keep missing those. I didn't touch it last time. He said, yeah, but come on now. I didn't touch it at all. And then he says something to her that makes her not happy.
And yet, those moments also reveal her heart. She rose every time she fell, answered every tough question honestly, showed up to compete even when her body resisted, learned from mistakes, grew from setbacks, never leaned on pressure as an excuse, even when she could. Fans admire the long threes, the flashy assists, but the real story of Caitlin Clark lives here, in these quiet, painful moments. The heartbreak of losing the national championship, the vulnerability in rookie exit interviews, the frustration during injuries, missing the playoffs, the exhaustion of carrying expectations no rookie has ever shouldered. These moments reveal the human behind the superstar, living under a spotlight she never asked for, yet handling it with courage. People connect not because she's perfect, but because she keeps fighting when everything feels impossible. Caitlin Clark's saddest moments don't weaken her. They deepen her story, make it richer, more authentic. They show the source of her toughness. A competitor who refuses to quit, and a young woman growing into herself while the world watches. Her journey will have highs and lows, but these early moments prove she has the heart to endure it all. If you loved this deep dive into Caitlin Clark's toughest times, show love to the channel, like, comment, hype the video, and subscribe. Every single one of you keeps this channel alive.